Welcome to Seven Stream Queens, the podcast for ambitious female entrepreneurs who are ready to reign over their income streams and build businesses that thrive. We're here to guide you on the journey from one stream of income to 7 and beyond, so you can create financial freedom and the life you've always dreamed of. Whether you're launching a side hustle, scaling your empire, or just curious about how to multiply your revenue, this is your go-to show for expert tips, actionable strategies, and inspiring stories. So grab your crown, because it's time to rule your business like the queen you are.
Okay, exciting week. We are here at Seven Streams Queens. We're talking with Dahlia DeWinters, who we first knew and loved as an author, but has also expanded and broadened her horizons and also is now an entrepreneur in addition. So we have a lot to talk about.
We do indeed.
Oh, hello.
Hello and welcome.
Thank you.
And we've been talking literally for, I don't know, 35, 40 minutes. So, I mean, we used up all the good stuff, obviously, in the conversation. But, so like, Dahlia, do you remember, and of course, this is your pen name, but do you remember how we met? Like, how long have we been working together? I think it's been a really long time at this point.
I really want to say at least from 2018, maybe the end of 2017, when it was Love Kissed Authors.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes, I know. Okay, so you initially came into our orbit working with us as authors and everything.
Mhm.
You want to tell us a little bit about your author career? Like, when did you first start publishing? How did that go?
Well, I was first officially published in 2011 with
Mhm.
Evernight Publishing. It was a book called Kitty Wishes, which is no longer in circulation. It has to really be like when I look back on it, it's like I could have done a lot better. But of course, you always,
Yeah.
when you improve, you always look back at what you've done. I started with them. Then I moved over to, I want to say Loose ID in 2014. Yeah, Loose ID, no, 2013. Loose ID. I stayed with Loose ID for a while. And then I was with Amira Press, which is out of, it was like a single person kind of run press.
Mhm.
Then I was with Sugar and Spice. And then I was with, when before it was totally entwined, I believe it was totally e-bound. And I was with them, and I was also with Liquid Silver.
Oh, wow.
So that's really reaching way back in the
Right?
past. So those are the publishers that I've been with. And then once I learned the business enough, I decided, oh, I'm going to self-publish.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. That's a lot of publishers to be with. Congratulations.
Mm-hmm.
Thank
Now,
you.
sorry, I have a question on that.
Mhm.
Which do you prefer? Do you prefer to be published by a publisher or a self-publisher?
Well, I would prefer to be published by a publisher because they take care of the editing, the formatting, and the covers for you.
Mm-hmm.
But self-publishing gave me a lot more freedom of the content that I could write.
Yeah.
Usually the e-publishers were focused on romance, whatever kind, sweet, spicy, steamy, but I wanted to write just fiction.
Mm-hmm.
And then I eventually moved into horror fiction. So it kind of necessitated that I be a self-publisher.
Yeah. Very good. And like one of the things that I hear a lot of people who have the publishers is that they are not in control themselves of the marketing of the books, and making sure
Right.
that it goes up for sale, it goes into this. You have to kind of give up that.
Yes,
Kind of,
you definitely do.
yeah. That's one of
And
the
you also have to give up I have a brief story. I'm not going to name the publisher,
no.
but I was contracted for a book in a series, first in the series. They edited, quote, the book. And when I went through when I was with Loose ID, the editing was 6 weeks. They did 6 rounds of editing at Loose ID. I had an excellent developmental editor. They had excellent proofreading. I was so happy. with the book. I just took the book as it was, and when they went out of business, I published it as it was. I didn't have to do any
Yeah.
changes to it. That was my zombie romance book. This particular publisher, when I read through, first of all, they were done with editing in 2 weeks.
Mm.
Second of all, there were errors in the book. There was timeline continuity problems in the book.
Wow.
And I said, I had to sit down with myself, and I was up at 2 a.m. pacing the floor, and I said, I don't think I want this publisher to handle my book, because if they took that book, then they would have rights over the rest of the series. And I just did not trust them.
Yeah.
So I really want to do a video one day about how I paid to not publish, because they always have the videos where you never pay to publish. Well, I paid to not publish, and
Oh,
I bought my
yeah.
book back from them.
Did you? Okay.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, that's kind of wow, actually. I was going to ask you about that. That's a stressful time, I'd say.
Oh, I was very
Yeah.
stressed out about it.
Yeah.
Okay, so the interesting thing is, and I think it's important for all of our listeners to know that I think that a lot of times people have the misconception that people self-publish because they couldn't get a publisher
Yeah.
or whatever the
Yeah.
case may be, and
Right.
that that maybe it's one of those, just anybody thinks that like they can self-publish a book, which
Right.
granted, this is true. Anybody can, does have the ability to do it. Now the reality is, though, that you're coming at this, you have a degree, like a bachelor's, probably science or something, right? Because it's
BA.
BA, okay, because economics, all right,
Hmm.
and from Yale, okay. So this is, I mean, like, we're not, I mean, like, this is not somebody who just has like a high school
Yeah.
diploma and then just decided,
Right.
like, oh, I like reading, so I'm going to start writing.
Mm.
So, like, and it's interesting because one wouldn't think necessarily that getting a degree in economics would translate to becoming a romance author. And yet,
It's true.
here we are.
Here we are.
But like another person that I've worked with very closely, I mean, like Carly, she's a lawyer. Like she had like her background, she is a lawyer, and here she is, and like she writes,
Right.
romance and stuff. So I think that it is really, really interesting how self-publishing and the book world has allowed a lot of people to do things that they might not have originally done. Now,
True.
was there a reason that you went into this instead of like, I mean, did you ever work in economics? Was that something that you did, or how did that go?
Well, when I graduated, there was some issue, and I don't. It's so fuzzy. You were supposed to go to Wall Street, work on Wall Street, and apparently, I believe it's been so long. There was a stock market issue, a stock market crash. Something happened
Ah,
because I graduated in 1990. So something happened around that time that kind of squeezed the job market for economics majors, finance majors.
mhm.
And there was an opportunity for Teach for America, their first year program. So I said, well, since I'm not going to Wall Street, I'm going to try this Teach for America program. Since it's in its first year, it was charter members. This is the first time so they sent teachers to different underserved areas. And I ended up going to New Orleans for 2 years to teach right after college. And that's how I got into teaching. So I was a teacher for 10 years, 10 to 12 years. I taught 2 years in New Orleans, and I came back to New Jersey because you can't be a Northern girl in the South. I'm sorry. And I ended up teaching in my hometown, actually, where I went to school for the
Mhm.
next 10, 11 years. And then when I had my daughter, I stopped working.
Can confirm that there is a lot of issues growing up in the North and moving
Yes,
to the South. Okay. Yeah, and it's a whole different lifestyle. It is,
it sure is.
I literally joked that I married my husband to get my green card and be allowed to stay down here
Yeah,
because it
I can
felt like a
believe it.
whole different country. We really did. So, okay, you have had a really, really interesting life. I mean,
Yeah.
like it's a
Yeah, now that
very
I talk about it, yes.
no, but like this is a very, very like colorful life that helps probably shape a lot of the characters and the kind of stories that you're able to,
Most definitely.
write. Because I mean, it's much, much harder for people, I think, who haven't traveled, haven't done, as
Mm.
much, haven't had as many experiences, but you're able to bring to life a wide variety of characters based on like even, I mean, like
Especially
look,
from Louisiana.
right? Right? I mean, like I mean, if you ever watch TV in the originals, like it does not surprise me that they set that, like in New
Hmm.
Orleans, like it made perfect sense to me. So yeah, no, this is fascinating because you and I have talked lots of times. We've done, like we've worked closely one-on-one
Oh,
before, done,
yes.
various like coaching and whatnot together. And we didn't even get that deep. Like I did not know all these really, really cool things about you. Like this was so exciting, for me to be able to
Mhm.
dive deep on this. And for those of you who are watching us on YouTube, you are going to notice that like every time you talk about, okay, because you graduated college in 90, I graduated, high school in 90, which,
Oh,
do a lot of, yeah, I mean, yes, I told you I'm old.
oh.
But only one of us looks it. Okay. That's all I'm saying. So, when you were talking about the whole, before we started recording,
Hmm.
I mean, well done. Let me just say, well done. Like, so that. But now, so at what point, like, did you decide? Okay, so like I know, how did you become an entrepreneur? So you have an interesting story with this because I like that.
Well, my daughter was born in 2004.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's last week. And
Exactly.
she developed very, you gave her the milk. I had my son, he was fine.
Hmm.
And but I think drinking regular milk was messing with her skin, giving her eczema. She still has issues. She drinks Fairlife now, so
Hmm.
she's lactose free. And she got to the point where I think she was about 18 months old and she had to wear tights all the time because her eczema
Oh
was
gosh.
bleeding.
Mm-hmm.
And I was frantic, okay, about what to do. I didn't want to put her on steroid creams because it's supposed to thin the skin. And of course, I'm like an internet person. I'm researching, researching, researching. Found out
Hmm.
about shea butter through a friend of mine, on
Hmm.
an online friend, because she was doing shea butter products and things like that too. So I bought my little pound of shea butter and cranked it up in the KitchenAid with some evening primrose oil, avocado oil, and made a
Hmm.
shea butter whip, and it helped her eczema. So my mind is always clicking. I was like, I can sell this. So I started selling it, and then it developed into a whole line of fragrance, non-fragrance fragrance things, but the core of it was the whipped shea butter.
And
And we even did a commercial with my daughter, which
Did you? Oh my
it
God.
started out with it was an audio commercial. Mommy, I'm so itchy. And then I had this whole spiel about this. I think I found it on one of my old hard drives like a couple of years ago. But yeah, I was really very deeply into making skincare.
Okay.
I
Very good.
love that. I
Yeah.
love that. And but see, this is what business is. Like, I tell everybody when, I started the business, but it wasn't really supposed to be a business. Like I accidentally went into business.
Right.
Because really it was just, me trying to market my books and
Solving your own problems. And
yes,
then you end up solving everybody else's problems.
exactly, because that's what business is. When you're in business, you're in the
Yep.
business of solving problems. And so now from there, like, so did you ever sell, like, what platforms were you selling that on? Like, so I'm fascinated.
Oh, this was back in the days where you had to build your own website on Zendesk.
Mm.
So I built my own site. Oh,
Wow.
I'm having flashbacks because I had to learn CSS code. So I ended up learning CSS code because I wanted the font to be this size, that size, and it was a program that I used that I don't really remember, but it was a program that would you would do the code and then you can flip over to the next one and see how it changed. And you go
Right.
back and do the code again, and it was a WordPress, because now
Yep.
I can change my own code on WordPress because that's on the
Yeah.
CSS platform. But back then, there's a lot of coffee going on. So I sold from my own website through Zendesk, but then I'd advertise and market social media, Facebook, going on other people's podcasts and partnering with other sellers of similar things. So that's how that happened back in the day, as they say.
That
That's
is
amazing. Yeah.
amazing. That is just so amazing. And I love this. And because but everything that you've said, it just totally it's absolutely on brand for everything I know about you, which is the whole like, okay, there's an issue, that's okay, I can solve it, I can figure this out, like, and that's because that's what you have always done.
Yep.
And oh my goodness, but I didn't realize how deep and how far back it went, I guess, because
Oh
we've pretty
yeah.
much mostly done like digital like stuff together.
Right. Hmm.
Because then when you and I were talking, like, can you tell our listeners all about kind of like the digital thing, the digital products that you were creating and stuff? Because yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, I was always used to, since I had kids at home and I was a teacher, I would always print up things and do things for them. I did that when I was back in my classroom. I actually had my own copy machine back in the day in my classroom to copy things because getting to the copy machine as a teacher was like a fight, but that's a whole nother story. But with the digital things, I realized, I said, I saw teachers pay teachers, and then we talked about it. I said, well, what can I do? What do I like to do? I said, okay, since people enjoy Black History Month,
Hmm.
I enjoy Black History Month. I said, let me do something very simple that teachers can take, print out, cut up, and pass them out to their class.
Hmm.
Black History bookmarks with a little blurb, a picture, just a very short spiel about certain historical figure, whether it be in law and government, music, athletics, whatever. And they sold. They really sold. I think my biggest problem with them was picking the color for each different subject that I use. But yeah, they're very popular.
Wow.
I love that. And so you designed everything yourself. Like, did you
Yes.
have a template that you worked from, or how did any of that go?
Well, like I said, I'm an internet crawler, so I'm looking at other people's bookmarks. My first bookmarks were spooky bookmarks, and they were four separate things on the paper. So of
Right,
course, each person had to cut everything out. Then
right.
I saw somebody's bookmarks, and they were all together. So you could just slice them and and be done with it. You wouldn't have to
Mhm.
cut each one out separately. So that's when I started designing them when they were all together. And I put little guide cuts on the paper so they
Right,
can easily use a paper cutter or scissors, because most of people are using scissors to cut it
right.
out. So I evolved by being nosy about other people's things.
Well, and we call that market research. So
Yes.
you are actually doing things exactly the way they're supposed to be done, which is you like research your competitors and you
Right,
see what other products, and this also sparks ideas because like the smart thing to do is to kind of like take your idea and like mesh it with something that is already working that like
right.
when you see something like that.
So why reinvent what you're
Yeah,
doing?
exactly. Exactly. I mean, you just like make it yours by putting your spin on it and going with
Hmm.
your themes. And I love that. Okay. Because I mean, like, so, well, you were doing economics. I was like hardcore, like eyebrow deep in literature and
Oh,
did like, I mean, so I'm very like classically trained in all the different, like,
mhm.
yeah. So, the minute you were talking about having done like the Black History Month, all I could think was, oh, I wonder if she did some of the Harlem Renaissance, or I wonder if she did like, and so like I'm imagining, like
Right,
wondering,
right.
like who were you, because yes, I did, I definitely had some favorites, like
It seems, sorry, it seems
go,
as
no.
well that it was another thing that you fell into. It wasn't, I'm going to make this a business. It was just like you were doing it and then you were
Yeah,
helping the people and then it becomes a business. So that's kind of, I suppose, what happened with the skincare and then what happened with that as well.
exactly.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's really cool, actually.
And
Yeah.
I was having fun doing it because I
Yeah.
started out doing not crosswords, word searches,
Mm.
which
Yes.
was just strictly, just generic word searches. And I said, now this is boring. I said, let me do something that I'm actually interested in researching. And that's how I kind of fell into that. And then the bookmarks, and they all just came together.
I mean, that is awesome. So
Yes.
you did a lot of printables
Hmm.
and so you were supplying them as printables and everything like that. And that's
Yes.
awesome. And I was telling you, of course, I know that this evolved and you did stickers and magnets because I
Yes.
have some of both. Okay.
Yes,
And
you're my test subject.
yes, I mean, I went looking for and we moved. So I don't know where it is right now, but I loved, you remember the mermaid one? Like there was a mermaid
Yes.
one.
The
Okay.
glittery one. Yes. That was from
Yes.
Sticker Mule.
Yeah. So Rest in peace. But so like the whole but yeah, we talked I know that we had talked about different places and that you had used Sticker app
Yes.
as one of the places that we enjoyed because they had so many different options. Did you ever try
Oh yeah.
like any of their holographic stuff or anything? I know that they had different things like that.
No, I only did the holograph with a sticker mule,
Okay.
because the other ones had evolved to where I was putting them together from elements that I was getting from Creative Fabrica
Right.
and what's the other one? Design bundles. So I was
Oh,
taking
yes.
graphics and then combining them and putting the little thing in the back, and
Hmm.
they're vinyl stickers so they can be indoor or outdoor stickers. So
Oh,
that's what the next step up that I was doing.
Okay.
And then I made sure they're book themed, because I know
yes.
people love book themed stickers.
Yeah. And so it's funny because you were kind of like one of the OG people doing sticker things with like all of that. I know that a lot of people have, since jumped on the bandwagon,
Hmm.
but the way you're talking, like I can tell you read your terms and conditions and you knew that you couldn't like
Yes,
just
I did.
take things and because people don't understand this. I get really, really frustrated.
Mhm.
Um, so one of the reasons I started the school was I get very frustrated when people are teaching others to do things the wrong way. You know what I
Right.
mean? And so I get really excited at the same time when I hear people doing things intentionally the right way, like you've taken the time to read the terms of service. So it always says that you're not allowed to sell them exactly as you
Right,
purchase them
right.
and everything, so that you have to do different things with them. Now I know some things, I know that you put words with some things and you had like, font, like so that was
Yes.
one of the
Hmm.
things. And some of them are really like the original ones that I have are very, very like they were simplistic, but like for me, they were very meaningful, very
Right.
positivity, like driven and
Mhm.
everything. Like you can't imagine how nice it is to get to my fridge and look and have right at my eye level, you've got this girl. Like, and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I do. She's right. I got this. And of course, because it's you, I'm like, Dahlia's giving me a little pep talk. I got
Yeah,
this.
I'm right
Yep.
there in your ear.
I know, right there.
In an eye
So
line.
exactly. Yeah. So it's lower on my fridge than it would be on like other people's, but you get the idea. So yeah, but I mean, um, I love, I love the journey. Now, were you using Canva with that or were you working when you were doing the
I
design?
was actually using Photoshop 6 because I
Okay.
have an old copy of the reason why I'm an author is because my father was a storyteller and I am a storyteller too. I'm always like, I got a story about that. But he was a photographer and he used Photoshop on his computer. Photoshop is now a subscription, which
Yes.
I absolutely refuse. I can't with this. I can't because I don't use it that often. It
Yeah.
seems like you're paying all this money and you
Yeah.
use it every couple of months.
Yeah.
So I make all my covers in Photoshop
Mm-hmm.
6 and I put the stickers together in Photoshop 6. So
Okay.
I use Photoshop. I sometimes I use the Silhouette Studio
Mm-hmm.
software that comes with it,
Yeah.
but I'm more comfortable with Photoshop, and it has to be 6 because this new Photoshop, I'm like, I don't, there's too many buttons.
Yeah.
I can't be bothered.
Yeah.
I'm wildly
Right.
impressed because I think that, I've tried multiple times to take courses on how to use Photoshop and I just can't. I just
I
can't.
can
I'm
do
like,
I can do covers, but not really fancy like paranormal ones. Just give me romance ones and I can do them, but that's it really.
I've learned to layer all of the
Yeah.
covers, I believe, except for the one from Totally Ebound that are on Amazon right now, are the ones I designed. And I also designed the cover for my little horror group that I'm with a couple of other ladies called Colors and Darkness. I did the cover for, do I have it? No. Of course. Of course. Why would I have it handy? Because that would make too much sense. But I did the cover for one of their books called Deadly Bargain. And let me tell you, when they talk about layers, oh, that was like a 12 layer cake. It took
No.
me, it probably took me over 100 hours in Photoshop to do it.
Oh wow.
But if you want to look, it's online, and that's my cover that I did on Deadly Bargain by Colors and
mm.
Darkness.
No,
I did a wrap too. It wasn't even the ebook. I did the paper book,
oh,
paperback cover.
Wow, that's fantastic. And so you're still obviously doing the stickers and all that. Is that what you're still doing now? Is that
Yes,
yes, okay.
that's in my Etsy shop
Okay.
with
but
the
you have low
printables.
content journals too, don't you?
I used to, but then I noticed that the journals were ramping up It wasn't, I have a lot of paperback, low content, no, basically line journals on
Yeah.
Amazon, but that was when they were first really hot. And now people have moved up to different prayer journals, affirmation journals where they put
Mhm.
content in because Amazon started kind of cracking down on just putting up line journals. Now I have hundreds of line journals still on Amazon, but I don't make them anymore.
Yeah, because I bought one. I
Yes,
remember. Yeah, like and it was
they
gorgeous.
still sell though.
Yeah.
Around school or in August. Oh,
Yeah.
I've had orders of 20 journals at a time.
Yeah.
So they're still viable. So I just leave them alone.
Right. Okay. Because that's what I was like, you didn't take them down, right? Okay. So
Oh no.
the thing is, what I love is that it is a stylish composition notebook, essentially. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And so you had created it. Was that something that you also made in Photoshop? Is that what you're gonna tell me?
Yes, I did. The covers, I have all the template covers still from Photoshop. I put the little bands on it. Oh
Yes.
yeah. And
Yeah.
then you put a filter over the actual pattern. So you're
Uh-huh.
changing that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are only about 3 layers, 3 to 4 layers.
Practically nothing. I mean, whatever.
Oh,
Um,
believe 3 to 4 layers is nothing.
I couldn't get one. Like I tried to resize a photo in Photoshop once and I was like, why won't you resize for me? Like it
I've been
was
working with Photoshop for probably years. I mean, literally probably since 2011, if not before. And let me tell you, at the very beginning, it's very frustrating
Mhm.
and you're fighting yourself and I just put my behind in the chair until I mastered. I would just say, okay, I just need to master one thing today. And
Yeah.
that was it. And then I would get up and come back the next day and it'd be another thing that I'd have to master. And that's how I did it.
What was the name of that book again? Deadly.
Deadly bargain.
Sorry, I'm just gonna have a look.
No, yeah. So, so Chrissy, the reason that I was really excited for you to meet Dahlia is because in so many ways you two like remind me of each other where Chrissy will do the same thing where she just is like will get focused on like, okay,
Yep.
I'm gonna figure this one thing out. Like she can't like this is the thing she's gonna figure out. And it just made me think of you. And I was really excited to get you guys together because I just felt like, here are two people that I adore who are gonna just like hit it off. You know what I mean?
I
I
Um,
think
couldn't let Photoshop beat me. I
no,
couldn't.
but one of the other things I think that we have in common and with Nicole as well is the whole falling into a business.
Oh yeah.
Like I would love to sit down and say, right, let's do some market research. What's the best business to be in? But like you, I find somebody says something and I'm like, oh yeah, I can make a business out of that, and then start doing it and helping them and then being able to sell it on as a business. But yeah, that's why I was quite interested in what you were saying there. Yeah.
I know
Well,
I'm
that's what
saying,
happens. You end up solving your own problems and you
Yeah.
realize that, a lot of people have your same problem. So you
Yeah.
just expand.
Yeah.
and that is exactly how business works. It is exactly how business works. But I loved, and I was going to say this, I loved because this is almost advice for new entrepreneurs, where you said you just focus on learning one new thing, like
Yeah.
learning one new thing a day and everything. And then I mean, that is the key to being an entrepreneur. You don't have to know everything all at once. Um,
Right, right,
it's so funny because I think that we don't realize how much stuff we know that other people would love to learn from us.
right.
Have you ever considered, because you are already a teacher, have you ever considered doing, any online courses to teach people how to do some of the things that you and I take for granted a lot of things that we know how to do now, right? Like we're just like,
Hmm.
yeah, it's whatever. We just do it. But like you have a great you have a great voice, first of all, like for as far
Yeah.
as like, I think that people would find it, very
Soothing.
relaxing and comfortable and like soothing to listen to explain how to do something. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
Um, it's like there are some people who talk and you're just like, no, please don't. But no, like you have a fantastic voice. And you have a um very comfortable, like you're, like a very comfortable person, like so that I think that people would feel very, relaxed learning from you. It would be like the
Okay.
perfect ideal situation. And so I was wondering if you'd ever considered, I mean, I know that you do social media. You were one of the first ones, like TikTok. I mean, you haven't, how much have you used it for marketing? Because
Not very much, but I remember getting on it and saying, somebody told me in order to have a TikTok shop, ting, 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 you have to have at least 1,000 followers.
Mhm.
So I made it my business to get on TikTok 7 days out of the week and join those live parties, the
Mm.
follow parties.
I don't get
And that's
that.
how I gathered my 1,000.
Mm.
And then
Because I
once
said, you know what, just in case. And then after that, I didn't use it at all. But I still have my 1,000 followers.
Mhm.
And I kept my app on my phone even after they canceled TikTok or whatever. And I said, well, now I'm starting to slowly get back into it because an author friend of mine says, you have 1,000 followers and you're not doing anything. So now she shamed me. She's like, okay, this week she gives me a task each week to do. You have to
Mhm.
upload one promotional video. It has to be 30 seconds and it has to be that. So I'm like, okay. So she's bullying me into being on TikTok,
But that's great
but
as
in a
well for
good
the
way.
accountability, isn't it? Like
Mhm.
if somebody said to me on a morning and they came and said, right, make yourself a reel or a TikTok and post it today, I'd be like, oh, okay, I feel I'd have to do it. Whereas if I sit here, I won't
Exactly.
think about doing it. Do you know, I think,
Exactly that.
yeah, it's when it's something that I love TikTok, I'm on it all the time, but only by looking at other people's stuff.
Mm,
And, you know, the difference that it can make to those different people for us watching it is the same for us. If we did it, then again, people would
exactly.
watch it and it would do us really good. And, but if somebody said to me, right, today I want you to do this one thing, like we said, master it and get it up there, I would. It's just, you know, I don't have that.
You don't have the initiative to do it. No, I understand
No,
that because it's like I can do 20 other things and sit here
yeah,
making a TikTok. It's like, I'll do it. She's like,
yeah,
make sure you get up so I can share it. And then we share each other's
yeah,
things. So,
that's good.
Mhm. Yep.
Yeah.
No, she's a good friend. Like it's always
Mm.
great to have an accountability partner.
oh,
I
yeah.
Oh,
love
yeah.
that. I love that for you. And I love so because you have 1,000 followers, you can have a link in there. And you could technically, have you ever worked with like you could do a one link through either beacons or I mean Pensite or something like that where you could have a link to all of your did you know this?
No, I don't know what Beacon is. I have Linktree.
See, okay, so very, very similar. Yes.
Okay.
So beacons for $10 a month, you
Hmm.
can basically have like a whole shop on just one, like it's a platform, yes. But
Okay.
you can have like it acts as a one link so that you can have like your social media and all the
Hmm.
different places to like find you and follow you. But you would be able to also put on there links to grab some composition notebooks from, like you could do
Oh,
that. You could also have on there like, like printables and you could send them to your printable shop. You could have something like, oh, need stickers and like you could send them to like, the different spots where,
oh,
like you have
okay.
your stickers. So you could kind of put everything under one roof, so to speak, with that.
Yeah.
And on top of that, you can also create courses on there. So you would have a course platform where it could be, like you could teach the process of how, like the different ways that you can potentially, create stickers. Because it could be the whole thing like, here are places because, the basics of stickers are you need a
Hmm.
design, you need, like to process the design. So like,
Right, right.
and then you need to either have them on and I absolutely understand we had discussed before we started recording about whether print on demand if you had tried some of those and you didn't like the quality. I absolutely respect that. For me, like it is very difficult for me to get to the post office and stuff to ship
Right,
things. So for me, that's why I like tend to do towards, the print on demand. But you like it is also more economical for you to order, like if you can afford it, to order like
right.
the hundred
To
or
order
whatever
stock.
from
Hmm.
yes, exactly, and keep a
And they
stock.
never go out of style. They don't
Mm-mm.
expire. They can sit up. I think they've been sitting here for probably a year.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Exactly. It's like
So,
it's a perfect product for you to do stuff like this with.
mhm.
And then, like, and you can also, so you could put this one link on your TikTok and then anybody can like buy or,
And
like
browse and do all.
yes, and browse.
Okay.
And like the videos that you make can lead people to these things, like when you're making, if you get to doing packing videos or whatever, because you mentioned,
Hmm.
now have the stand where it will like look down, which is
Right.
fantastic.
Which
Um,
my friend encouraged me to buy.
yeah, she's a good friend. She's a really,
She's
really good
great.
friend. Yeah, I like.
Yeah. She said, you need to buy. She sent me the link and everything. I said,
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah, so all of that. Now, so the interesting thing is, let's count streams because right now you sell like your books, so you're an author.
Hmm.
So every bit of your author career is, an income stream. Do you have so you have ebooks for everything, correct?
Yes.
And do you have paperbacks for everything?
I have two paperbacks for my personal books, and they're paperbacks, two paperbacks for no, oh, I'm in three anthologies. So there are
Okay.
three paperback and no, four anthologies that are
Mhm.
paperbacks.
Okay. Now, I don't know if you're aware, but Amazon has like a beta program that a lot of us are finding we're able to do where do
Mhm.
you remember how they used to do like a whisper sync kind of thing, which where you could they would take your ebook and they would, like kind of AI it so that, which I found I'm always looking at things to be ADA compliant. As a mom
Right,
of a
right,
special needs child, like I didn't realize, I think we're blissfully ignorant a lot of times until something affects us. And then all of a
right.
sudden
Of
we
course.
realize, and then it's like, it suddenly became super, super important to me that everything I do be able to be accessible to everybody,
Of
possible
course.
kind of
Hmm.
thing. So there's a beta program on Amazon that you check, you look and see, and it will allow you to pick a voice, an AI to read your book. And then that, like literally in 2 seconds, you set it up. You pick whether you want male or female, because like they don't
Hmm.
like you can't do dual point of view, like you just have to pick one. And then you can also pick like different accents. So if it's like,
Oh, okay.
if you want like an American accent or Irish or like, like things like that. So like
Hmm.
you can filter by those things. You pick a voice and then that's pretty much it. Like you set a base price and like I do low because I'm looking at it as being like an add-on. And
It's just extra, right?
yes, and it didn't cost me anything to make.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Because I'm not paying. Do you have any idea how many contracts I have with you know, basically people who were going to like record my books for audiobook and it never happened. Like it never felt it like it just fell through and everything.
Wow.
So it's done almost instantly. Like you very, very quickly make an audiobook doing that. So that might be something you want to check into because
Oh, I have to check that out.
zero effort on your part other than picking the voice,
Picking the voice right.
right? And so I literally spent one Saturday afternoon watching a movie with the family while like setting up. I set up 5 pages of, how on KDP, I set
Oh,
up
yeah, yeah,
five
yeah.
pages of books
Oh,
because I didn't get crazy with it. If I liked the voice, I was like, I'm not gonna, I just did that voice for all of them
right,
instead
right.
of, that kind of thing. So that might be something that you want to look into.
Oh, I
Now,
definitely will.
and then, um, okay, so you've got the printables and all that. I would definitely make sure that you have your on the one link, add in like, but see if you're on Shopify, you can do it through Shopify too. Shopify has one that you wouldn't have to pay for. But the only difference
Okay.
would be, and I say this because like you know me with the whole I look at all the different options.
Hmm.
I don't like doing things a whole bunch of times. So I take the time to figure
Same.
out like which platform is
Just
going
do
to
it
be
one
best,
time and leave it
right?
alone. Yep. Hmm.
And so that's why you might want to go with Beacons because it is low overhead. It's like I
Hmm.
said, it's only the $10 a month.
Right, right.
And then beyond that, you would also be able to potentially build the course, if like you want to do courses to like teach people how to, do that. You can do that all on there. Another
Oh, okay.
option would be Pensight, which I think is Pensight the same price, Christine? Um,
It's 29 a month.
oh, so it has to be the 29 version for that.
Uh, well, that depends. I can't remember why I went for the 29. What was it? Oh, it's because I wanted a community membership kind of thing. So without that, you could probably do it for free.
Oh,
Because you can sell up to 3 products on both of those
mhm.
platforms for free with no, like, yeah, like there's no monthly cost. They just,
Okay.
like, but yeah, because you already have PayPal and set up and probably
Yes.
Stripe, like,
Hmm.
so
Yeah.
that it just all would work together
Goes
with
through
that.
that. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, but we have resources. We have all those resources for you within the membership and everything, and we can like kind of help steer you that direction. I'm just one of these people who, when I'm talking to you, and of course I adore you. And so I want to do everything I can to like give you little ideas and tips to possibly, expand like
Well,
to
you were the one just with the Etsy shop and that's what you started all that because I wasn't thinking of doing it. I think we had a conversation. I was getting a little tired of the author thing and I wanted something else to, spark my creativity because I haven't published a new book, I think, since 2018. But this really helped me have something to do. So
yeah.
this is all due to you. The Etsy shop, you were
Um,
telling me about Teachers Pay Teachers. So I do
mhm.
listen. I do
Um,
listen.
well, see, and that's one of the reasons why I always have loved working with you, because not only would we have these great conversations, all right, like you were so fun to talk to, and not just because is her name still, was it Scarlett or was it Charlotte? I know we kind
Oh,
of,
Charlotte. Oh,
okay,
yes. Queen Charlotte to you,
yes,
excuse me.
the
Oh
puppy.
my,
Oh my goodness,
oh, she's a grown woman now
I know, I've
and
seen the pictures,
gigantic, 110 pounds.
but precious, and that face. How do you ever say no to her like
When she
this? You're
when
like,
she
no,
grabs your plate off the table, then you might want to say because she can walk right up to a table and just boop,
yeah.
yank it right off.
Yeah, the
But
mother of
yeah.
Danes. I had a great,
Oh, that's right.
it-
The Kentucky Fried Chicken incident.
oh my goodness, it was
I
so bad. It was
remember.
the neighbor's house. They had a levered front door, and the big mistake, levered front door, and she just like he just let himself in. He
Oh my
he
goodness, I
ate
remember that.
12 piece in one, like they just come back with dinner and groceries, and we were talking outside. And Bishop went inside, brick of cream cheese, a block of like the
Yeah.
quarters, the butter,
The butter, yeah.
bagels. It was a 6 pack of bagels,
My
Oh,
God.
the chicken, like the
He had
whole
more.
a 9 piece chicken meal. Oh, part of a tuxedo cake. The dog came out of the house belching. Okay, and I was like, "What have you done?" Threw up whole, like didn't even like
just
chew,
so he
whole
just
chicken
sucked it
piece,
down.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. We replaced their door handles for them so that
Mm.
the dog
Wouldn't
couldn't
have to
just
get,
get
yeah.
in after that.
Just
Yeah, it
walking.
was.
He had to have the dessert too. That's what tickles me.
I mean, like yeah, like the whole, like just and
Get the
it was
dessert.
terrible. So yeah, but yes, so I appreciate your issues with having a big dog, but
Hmm.
um yeah, I like every time. So you were one of the people that every time I worked with you, you would literally turn around and then just do it, which was fantastic and exciting. Question: are you doing anything at all with do you ever do anything with ChatGPT?
Yes, I do use ChatGPT for market research and sometimes for proofreading.
See, I love it. Okay. Obviously, no judgment here. Okay. I think it is fantastic for strategy. We have some prompts and stuff. I will point you in the right direction for
Okay, good.
things, because what I did that changed everything for me this year and is the reason that we have the school
Mhm.
um, is I basically sat down and um, put in what I wanted my day to look like, what my
Hmm.
goals were, like financial and everything else. And then I added in other components. Like, have you done strengths for writers or ever taken a Clifton, the Clifton Strengths test?
No. Mm-mm.
Okay. I'm gonna this is part of it's a freebie lead magnet that I made, and I'll share that with you and everything.
Oh,
It's in
okay.
the membership. Um and I've done it. I think Christine, did you also do it after
I
I
did, yeah.
shared the prompt? And
Yeah.
and did you absolutely love it? Did it make a big difference? Because basically once you do all that, it reads what your strengths are and it tells you what like the best things to do are for, like
Oh,
meeting
okay.
all your goals.
Yeah.
Because ChatGPT is fantastic with strategy. It is
Yeah.
amazing with strategy. So
I love ChatGPT and I love Claude.
Oh, I do too. Oh, I've never used
That's my
Claude.
that's my bestest friend.
I
mm,
must go and have a look at Claude. I've never used it.
no, me neither. But
I have heard a lot of
Oh,
people are saying it's between the two. And if you have the two in your business, that's a really um, great thing to have because they one gives you information and one does something else. I can't remember, but I must go and have a look at Claude.
yeah, so Christine's one of the first people who actually got me more into like checking
oh,
out and
okay.
trying ChatGPT. Okay, I wouldn't have
Mm,
even done any of
Mm.
this But once you do that, and once you like get it to lay out, like it'll tell you what your strengths are, and these are the best things that you should do for your strengths, and then you
Mm.
can like go deeper
And
because you
lean
can
into
have it,
that.
yeah, like you can then have
Hmm.
it help you with like it helped me with coming up with my IG profile stuff. And
Yeah,
you can train it for your brand voice. So like Christine's sounds very different than mine does
yeah,
because we have different styles.
Right.
So you can like share, this is, like this is my writing style, this is my communication style, this kind of
Mm.
thing. You'll build out a brand voice
yeah,
and then, like it will match. You'll say like, you'll put into the prompt, use my brand voice,
yeah,
like do it, like telling it what kind of language. So you train it and
yeah.
everything.
Well,
So,
I've used
Yeah.
Claude to rewrite my little blurbs under
mhm,
my author blurb. I said, it was so old. I said,
right.
this is what I'm doing now. Can you help me rewrite this, that, and the other? And it, I like to use it as a tool. People talk about,
It's
oh, they're
great.
writing AI books, and okay, that's not my business. What I'm doing dealing with is how
Yes.
to maintain my daily life because I remember, you remember, Christine
Mhm.
remembers back in the day.
Yeah.
Okay, write an author bio, 200 words. That's what, 3 hours you're sitting there trying to make
Uh-huh.
sure that it's always over, it's under, it's not telling enough. You put it, look, Chat GTP, help me out.
Yeah,
And
Yes.
then 15 minutes, and then you polish it up.
yeah,
What,
Yes.
half an hour? And you're
yeah,
done. I mean, who wants to spend 3 hours on an
yeah.
author bio that's 5 lines long?
It's,
Yeah,
yeah, I think,
I have a couple of different brand voices.
mhm.
Hmm.
So, like for example, I have a lead magnet that I want to do through two of them. So one is about books, one is an author one, and one is a business one dealing with side hustles,
Mm.
whatever. And I just put the doc in and go, can you give it to me in this one? And then I put it in again and go, can you give it to me in this one?
Yep.
And they're similar, but then they don't sound alike.
Mhm.
Do you
And
know what
that
I
would
mean?
have taken you what, an hour, hour and a half to
A
sit
lot
down
longer than
and
that,
puzzle
yeah.
out. And then you're still,
Yeah.
that's not good enough.
No,
It
scribbly,
saves
scribbly.
you a lot of time.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
So, and see, this is, so I think these are what we're explaining here are like the best case uses for like
Yeah.
ChatGPT. I'm one of those people. So one of my strengths is that I'm a maximizer, which means that I can take something that's raw and I will look at it and I will be able to figure out all these ways to improve it. Like that is one of my
Right.
strengths. And so that's what I lean heavily into. I'm not one of these people who is great with sometimes I get really stuck like staring at the blank page, which is why it takes the three
Mm.
hours, right? So I will put
Hmm.
into the prompt like, and this is what I'm doing. Please act as this to do, to help me
Right.
create this and da da da, make it, like use my brand voice, blah blah blah, and it will spit out for me. Like for example, the product creation checklist that I'm working on, building and everything. Um, you know, I was afraid I would forget some of the steps, because like you don't think of it until you're, doing it and then
In
it's
it.
far away,
Right.
So I will have it spit out like the basics and then I go through and I beef it up. I add in like all the things that are the knowledge stuff that I know and that, are the resources and all that stuff. So these I think, I'm going to make sure that you have this because I would love to be able to help you to improve, and like the marketing, like the growth part. Because
Yes. That I do. That's the one. Yeah.
you've
That's
got a
I need the
great
most
product.
help with marketing.
Hmm.
I love creating. And I
Yes.
was, like I said, and I love writing. I hate marketing. I just,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, these
here's
are
the link to
people.
my book.
I
Yeah, I
I
hate
told
it. I
you.
hate
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. I told Christine that she was going to love you, that you were our people. And like,
Yeah. I try.
this is what Christine and I have trouble with too. We love that we're creators at heart. We're creators.
Yes.
And so we love the creation part. Christine is also very techie. God bless her. I rely heavily on her to do like the techie stuff that I don't enjoy doing.
What is that
Right.
saying? I make it work, you make it pretty.
Right. Yes.
There we
Like
go.
we come up with like we have the ideas and we just, like we bounce ideas off each other. And so anyway, this has served us very, very well for years, but like somebody has to do better at the marketing. And so that's where we're like,
Most
okay,
definitely.
ChatGPT, how can we do this? You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Hmm.
And then I'm working on getting up some many chat things. So we'll talk about to kind of streamline some of your stuff since you already have TikTok at 1,000 and since Instagram you can you can use that same one link bio in your Instagram
Oh,
and
yeah.
we can do automations with ManyChat which are making people lots of money because it will. Are you at all familiar with ManyChat?
I don't know anything about ManyChat. Is it
Uh.
many or mini?
Many,
Many,
many.
MANY, like
Oh,
many chat, like so
yeah.
Okay.
I've never heard of this.
You're going to be so excited because we're putting like we've got a module, and in the author part we've already done it, but like for the
Okay.
business side we still have to, and there's templates. But basically what it is an automation that you hook up to your Instagram account,
Hmm.
and it will, like, if you've ever been on Instagram and you've seen it say, comment whatever, that's ManyChat. Whatever people comment, and it will
Hmm.
it'll say, comment prompts, and I'll send you my,
Oh, I've
GPT
seen that
prompts.
because I
And it
watch
happens
those Get Ready With
automatic.
Me videos and I
Yeah.
always want what they're wearing. And they're like, comment below and I'll send you the link. I'm like, yeah, here we go.
Mhm.
Oh, and I idly wondered, I wonder if that would work for me. Then I'd wander off and do something else because I was like, I can't.
Mhm. See, this is why we're
Oh,
going to give you the templates, because then, and see, and here's some of the other resources that you probably didn't even know you needed. But in our MRR PLR vault, there is the 100 uh, hooks, captions, prompts, and everything that you
okay.
can use, that will be like the hook, and then you can
Mhm.
put together the caption, and then you can lead it to your product that you like, because you'll hook it up with ManyChat, and it will like deliver them the link. It will deliver freebies if you're trying to, and it will collect emails. It will get you more followers. It will like increase your sales. Yeah. Yeah. We're going to get you
Okay.
streamlined. Are
Oh,
you
Yeah.
please,
excited?
because I used to just point, I can't have a link in bio. Okay, I'm so tired of saying it.
Hmm. Yep. Nope. We're gonna make
Yeah.
it even better for you.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And Christine is putting together an automations.
I
She's
am.
putting together an entire module on automations that will help
Yeah.
everybody a million ways. So
Because we really
yes.
need that one click because there's
Hmm.
so much going on.
I know,
Hmm.
right?
So
There is.
so I was excited to talk to you today because A, I wanted to like catch up with you and find out like all your streams that you have going. And B, I was also secretly hoping that we could, like this strategy, little mini strategy sesh at the end where we could,
Awesome.
give you ideas and stuff,
Right, right.
because you do the thing. Like you will actually do the thing now that we have talked about it. And
Well, I got to get on TikTok and see about this beacon. That's the first thing I'm going to do.
well, I'll give you a link because I'll give you a link to Beacons, because
Okay.
it's that, like, so I've got that. And the good news is that in school, we can send you messages right inside the portal so that you don't, like, there's the whole, community conversation, like the beacon and
Yes.
everything. So we will do that. And I will point you in the direction of some of these resources, because
Okay.
you have access to the whole thing. Like you had joined, so you had originally joined Love Kiss Coachables.
Yes.
Yes. And so that was the group coaching program. So that's all
Mhm.
like the author stuff. So you've got access to all the author stuff. But then you also joined the Seven Streams Project, which we started right before the pandemic in like 2019.
Yes. Yep.
Yep. Um, and so from there, that gives you access to all of the rest of it, like the
Okay.
whole portal. So right down to content calendars, right down to social media stuff, right down to like seriously, because you already know how to work with ChatGPT, like you'll be able to go in
Yes.
and edit it for your niche and stuff.
Right.
So we'll talk more about that, but I'm so excited. I'm so glad that we talked today. And
I am too.
Yeah, it was a
um
great
and
chat.
do me a favor, when you get I know that you mentioned that like you have a lead magnet that is in the works. When you get that, be sure to share it with us so that we can
Yeah.
update and make sure that
Okay.
we have, like, because part of, yes, we love talking with you, but we also want to help you grow. That's a big part of, like, show notes. We want to be able to like help you get new followers. We want to be able to direct people to your amazing products. And you said you're on Teachers Pay Teachers. And did you
Marginally.
marginally? Um,
Yes, marginally. It was much easier for me to do Etsy because Teachers Pay
yeah.
Teachers has a totally different thumbnail type thing going on. So I
Okay.
had to make them for teachers. I had to remake them. So
Okay.
now I just use the TPT ones over at Etsy.
Okay.
But I've been a little slow with that.
You've got a lot going on. I mean, like I think that a lot of us, everything changed like from the pandemic moment on, like
Hmm.
everything changed, and many of us have been in burnout and recovering ever since,
I
because,
believe that. Yeah. Because
so
it was a lot,
I
with
know.
everyone being home, you're all on top of each other. It's like, oh, is this what a zombie apocalypse is like? Because I'm feeling
You see,
trapped.
over here in Ireland, we were for nearly 2 years. We dropped down in oh, what year was it? 2000. In October, we could have one. It was my birthday, my 50th, and we could have one family. So we had one family of friends over on the Friday night, and then the next day we had another family of friends over, and then on Sunday morning they blocked us down again for another 6 or 7 months. So like we couldn't go further than 5 kilometers from the house.
Wow.
We were down for nearly 2 years. Now I worked in a pharmacy, so I went to work. Like we split the pharmacy into two teams, so that if one of us got sick, the other team could take over.
Right.
And like we worked really, really hard. But yeah, my husband, he went back as soon as he could go back. There was nobody else in the building. He wanted to work in the building because he didn't want to work at home anymore. The kids
You
were doing
had it.
school for 2 years, and and I was getting up and going to work, and it was very hard as it was for everyone, but we were nearly down for 2 full years before we got released back into the normal life.
Into the wild.
Into the
Back
wild.
into the
Yeah, I was too scared to drive past the local mall because I thought, oh my God, I haven't been this far in like 2 years.
My goodness, we didn't have travel restrictions, but
Yeah.
it was a lot of masks, a lot of gloves, and a lot of but I'll say one thing, it solved the problem. I still DoorDash to this day. I'm like, oh, I'm not leaving the house.
Yeah. I'm
Let me
saying,
DoorDash something. I mean, Target has
yeah.
delivery now, Walmart has delivery
Yeah.
now, and sometimes it's faster for rather than me get dressed, drive to
Yeah.
Walmart, pick my stuff out, pick it up, bring it back. I can just be on my phone at 11 p.m.
Yep.
Yeah.
and order my stuff, and it will be on the steps in the morning.
And
Right.
it's usually cheaper because when you're walking around, you see all these awesome,
Yes,
you know what I
you're
mean?
picking
And
up
then
everything else.
yeah,
Exactly.
that you're going to throw away in a week's time. Yeah.
And I have to tell you, I know that a lot of us look at this and we're like feeling guilty for doing things like this. I used to, but I had to change the mindset on that around surrounding that. And one of the ways that I make myself feel better about it are that number one, I'm providing a job for somebody else who obviously
Yes,
like needs the job,
exactly.
And the other thing is that I am more effectively managing my time because this is the best use of my time to like, do all this, not to mention
Exactly.
kind of with her sensory issues. It's not, and her heart condition, it's not great for me to take her any place because,
Right, dragging her everywhere. Yes.
yeah, because we all know that even though she is fully vaccinated, we all still had COVID.
A
My
touch. Right, right.
my husband decided that he could eat at Chick-fil-A indoors and when he was working one day and brought it home and got us all sick. And I was like, you really thought that Christian chicken wasn't going to affect us?
Not
I
the
really think that
Christian
like
chicken.
I really think that like anybody like I mean he's just like, but they're so nice. I understand, but nice people get sick too. Okay. Like,
Yes.
stop.
Not
So
the Christian chicken though. Oh my
I
goodness.
mean, like I was like, dude. So yeah. So anyway, I think that we've all learned that, we have to, like I honestly just think that it's not necessarily the best use of my time to, to go to a store to do like some of these things. Like you
If you
said,
already know what you're going to do, why do you have to go and do the same thing over and over and
Yeah.
over and over again?
mm-hmm,
Right? You know what Walmart looks like. You know what Target, you know what Stop and Shop looks like. I don't need to go visit it again. It's not a
mm-hmm,
museum. I'm just
exactly.
getting eggs. They can
Mhm.
just bring it to and like you said, jobs for other people. That's the way I see it.
Exactly, exactly. So I look at this as like this is, one of my many humanitarian efforts, right? That I'm like
Hmm.
trying to, help other people get with jobs. So I really, really okay. Oh, I wanted to go. I saw it. Okay. Your favorite resources. So favorite author resources. What do you recommend for
Yes.
new authors? Like favorite resources?
Oh, for new authors? Hmm. Start slow. I'd
Mm-hmm.
use my little photo creator stock and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Creator stock is a site run by a Black woman,
Mm-hmm.
and all of the pictures on that site feature African American families and families of
Mm-hmm.
color, women of color, and there's a lot of
Yep.
different ideas that she puts out, different pictures that can spark creativity
Mm-hmm.
if that's what you're looking for. I think I have on their auto crit. I
Mm-hmm.
would not necessarily recommend that for a beginning author because you can get down in there and not get
Mm-hmm.
out.
Yep.
You know, they criticize, you know, they give you a critique of your work, which is fine, but if you're not, because when I was a beginning author, I was very insecure. Should I use the or this or that? You know, and if you get into autocrit, they will tell you what's wrong, and you have to have the personality to say, that's fine, that's wrong. I want to keep it like that, but I'll take this. If you can pick and choose, autocrit is good for you. But
Mhm.
if you are very sensitive and wanting everything perfect,
Mhm.
it's not a good
No,
not a good time to use it right now.
Mhm.
no, that's very true.
I just peeked at the creator stock.
Hmm.
Gorgeous. And I also wanted to share with you, Christine and I use Pixie stock, and
Oh
that
yes,
is
Oh,
love
also
pixie stuff.
owned by an African American woman.
I did not know about Pixie
And
Star.
there's lots
Oh,
of
I
So,
do. She's very pink.
mhm.
She's her theme is pink. Yes, I know
Yep.
Miss Pixie Stock. Yes,
Yep.
yes. I
Mhm.
love her stuff too.
Yep. Give me 1 second.
I love the stuff that they have. I just think it's
It's
so
very
stylish.
clean. I love the clean
Yeah,
lines.
very stylish.
She's so on Pixie stock, like not only that, like we bought a lifetime membership. I
Mhm.
thought she was brilliant. Like everything about like the marketing, the all of
Yes.
the
Oh
stuff,
yeah.
like so brilliant. So it's not just the one thing. It's not just pictures.
Hmm.
So it does.
Yeah. There's if you have the membership on there, there's like content calendars and all that kind of stuff for you. There's templates for everything to do with what you need in
Okay.
your business. Um
Because I started with her because I joined a mailing list like every 5 business days. So I was on her mailing list, but I kind of fell off with looking at what she was offering. I was started looking at her when she was just doing pictures.
Mm.
yeah.
And then she moved into, I did not know she moved into everything else. I'm gonna have to go back and take a look.
But it's beautiful. We use it like, I mean, obviously there's rules. I mean, with everything else,
Of
like so if
course.
we use it with things like our website, we're allowed to use them on the website. So we'll
Hmm.
use like her pictures. And we also use them like in print stuff. Like we've made a few journals that we put up on
Yeah.
Amazon. And
Right.
so anything that can't be edited, like that we can use it for that kind of thing. But we can't use it for anything like our templates where somebody would potentially be able to
Right,
pull
right.
stuff
That you can
out.
extract the what do they call the elements from it. It
Right.
has to be flattened and everything. Yeah.
But she does a great job with diversity, like as far as the
Oh,
models that
okay.
she uses. I mean, like all different, like very much I would say like a whole bunch, like it's completely everything that you would see in America, from
Right.
tall to thin to curvy
Plus size,
girls
curvy.
to curvy like curvy girls and like
Yes.
the like all different skin tones, all different like
Hmm.
very much like so it's like the representation on there is fantastic,
Okay. I'm really gonna
which
have to take another look.
yeah,
Yeah.
and she does like she also does some really gorgeous like faceless things too. Like so like
I love the flat
just
lays. I love
yes.
a good flat lay, I tell you.
She has some beautiful ones with like blankets and books and candles and
Oh,
just like
okay.
everything that speaks comfort and
Hmm.
for like authors and readers. Yeah. So yeah, I love it. And she's so talented. Like I don't know where she finds time to do all this. And she's consistently putting out new pictures. Like I don't know where she finds the time, but I mean, I'm so glad she does. So,
Yes, because
like
we benefit.
exactly. But yeah, she's very knowledgeable. She's amazing and she's built this business. Gosh, I want to say back in 2022, Christine, I think it was like she was making like over 50K a month, wasn't she?
Yeah, she
Like
was.
from this business. And
Wow.
she's a brilliant businesswoman. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, like,
Mhm.
this is what I love. I love finding people who really know and just like learning from them. You know what I mean?
Right,
Yeah.
right. Seeing what
So
they're doing and what's working.
yeah, so she teaches like social media stuff. There's courses on there and everything as well.
Oh,
So
okay.
like it might
Okay, she's
be
really expanded.
yeah, she has Canva templates. She has all kinds of stuff. So like take a peek and everything. I think that you would like it. But, that's what I'm just putting that out there.
Yeah.
So all right. And thank you like so much. I saw that on your resources for entrepreneurs you had Canva, of course, and
Of
Creative
course.
Fabrica, of course.
Yes.
And
Which I pay for. I pay for Can. I wouldn't appeal. Oh, I use Can. No, I have the whole. I'm all in with Canva
same.
Yeah.
because they have so many. They have the music if you need it. They have the
Mhm.
stock photos. They have the little mini videos. I mean, it's a one-stop shop if you want
Yeah.
something done very quickly, and then you can copy your templates and use them
Mhm.
again.
Yeah. And we love that, like for when we're making journals, you can basically have front and back matter already made and you just add the
Yes.
pages in and stuff.
Hmm.
And it's amazing. It just streamlines creation for us. So, last question. Have you worked with Midjourney at all?
I have. I have made some graphics. I'm 50-50 about that because I just don't like to look, I just didn't like the look of it. And that's
Mhm,
just my personal
mhm,
preference for AI rendered art as opposed
mhm.
to somebody doing it on a tablet. But I do see that you can put anything in your imagination and have it come out looking, and as long as your prompt is tight,
Yep.
it'll look like you want it to look. And hopefully they've solved their finger problem.
It has like so we have a whole module on Midjourney in case,
Okay.
and I'm only saying this because as someone, when you do like your low content journals and you're looking for potential
Mhm.
like cover stuff, or when you're doing stickers and you're looking for,
That's
different
true.
things
Yeah.
like that. And so that might be like beneficial. It's come a long way. And if you want examples, uh, practically everything, like everything in the design vault. I've made in
Okay. It's a
Midjourney. So
mid-journey.
like, yeah, everything in the design vault is Midjourney. So um yes, and so basically what I teach is kind of like the ethical, like ethical as ethical can be, meaning I don't I would say impressionistic, but I wouldn't say Monet. I would say, like
Right, right.
abstract, but I wouldn't pick like, famous art. Like, I would say pop art, but I wouldn't say, like Andy Warhol or, anything like that. You know
Gotcha.
what I'm saying? Like, so you can go with the style, but not with the artist
With
because
the
I
actual
think
artist itself. That makes
yeah, like
sense.
I have a problem with that. Like, you know what I
Well,
mean?
you being an artist, you're sensitive to that. A lot of people aren't sensitive to the fact that you're using other people's thoughts and ideas. You can have the overarching idea because many people did pop art, but
Yeah.
if you're going to specify a particular Keith Haring, then
Mhm.
that's, you're kind of pushing it.
Exactly, exactly. So you get it. So like that's where I'm at with that. But I just was thinking that might be something quick and easy for you to expand your offerings and stuff like that. So yeah,
Okay.
give it a try. But all right. I'm so glad that you like hung out with us
I
today.
am too.
It was
I,
fun.
yeah.
And it
And
was nice to meet you finally, Christine,
I
face to
know, and you
face.
too.
I
Yeah.
said, oh, my name twin.
mhm.
Absolutely.
I didn't even realize, like I told you, I only knew you through your pen name. So it's so funny when people, who are authors and I meet them and I'm like, wait a minute, I thought you were like the other day, I realized somebody who is an author is somebody that dated a friend of mine and I knew her as a different name. And I'm like, wait a
Oh,
minute,
wow.
you're not so and so. You're like, and yeah, it was really funny.
Aren't you
So
Angela?
yeah, like Jody, that's you.
Is that
You're this.
you?
So yeah, uh-huh. It was wild. But I'm really excited. I hope that we can catch back up again. Maybe as as you're, trying
Absolutely.
new things
Most
and
definitely. I'll keep
whatnot.
you posted on my progress.
Yeah.
Yeah, or if you get a course ready and you'd like to share and promote and tell people about it, we would love to, help support that. So,
Oh,
Yeah,
sure.
absolutely.
mhm.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much, and we'll share soon. And everybody watching, have a nice rest of the day.
It was
All
good to
right,
talk to
then.
you. See you later.
Good.
Bye.
Wonderful. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us on 7 Stream Queens. If you love this episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your fellow queens who are ready to grow their streams. Follow us on social media platforms for even more tips and resources, or visit your website to explore how we can help you expand your business. Until next time, keep building those streams. And don't forget, queens, your reign has just begun.